fans, making his way to the ring, the reigning and defending PWA heavyweight champion, the Nordic Nightmare Bjorn, and the Doctor of Desire, Tom Pritchard. Hello, PWA fans. Aaron Hurt, the man on the mic for the PWA, along with franchise player Chris Cruitt. Chris, thank you for joining me here. Let's tell the fans what we are showing them.
Right here, this is May 7th from the Fairfield County Fairgrounds. PWA presents Shot at Greatness.
We are taking a look at the main event of that huge confrontation that we had at the fairgrounds. Several matches that were definitely going to impact the future of the PWA, but perhaps none more so than this one. We see Bjorn with our guest, Dr. Tom Pritchard. Much had been made about his involvement in this match. Certainly his feelings about the way that Kevin had spoke of him in recent months building up to this franchise player. I know that you have a lot of thoughts on that issue as well.
Absolutely. All roads led to the fairgrounds right here.
And his opponent in this one fall 60-minute time limit match for the PWA Heavyweight Championship. He weighs 215 pounds and now makes his home in Knoxville, Tennessee. Former PWA champion and #1 contender. This is Kevin Cruit.
Aaron, you were on point this night. And there you see the younger brother of Kevin, Matthew Cruit,
leading the way for the challenger in this contest as that handsome and talented ring announcer walks by our cameras here. But this is just an example of the hubris and the ego that Kevin displayed more and more as the weeks went on leading up to this match.
Yeah, going into this event, Kevin was on his game, especially when it comes to his brash and his arrogance, and he was really looking forward to this opportunity to regain the PWA Championship. And Bjorn was looking forward to showing people that it wasn't a fluke, and he was the man, and he was the man for a reason.
Well, this was one of the most highly anticipated matches that the PWA had arguably ever had. Certainly we know of the ill feelings between these two, but beyond that, this is just a fascinating match from an athletic standpoint, from a competition standpoint. The way these two men match up, as I said, in terms of size, agility, the style of wrestling, it was, in and of itself, it was a classic before the bell even rang.
Well, and you go back to December, the last time we were at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds, and these two men met up one-on-one, and it was a barn burner, to say the least. Then Kevin spent some time in Tennessee, in Knoxville, at the Jacob Pritchard's Academy, and he had a lot to say when he came back.
You know, our fans and anyone within the sound of Kevin's voice were well aware of just how confident he felt after matriculating through.
Well, you can say it. He was cocky. He had a chip on his shoulder. He was as cocky could be when he came back, and he would waste no time in telling everybody who would listen that he was the favorite student of the Jacob Pritchard's Wrestling Academy, and Dr. Tom Pritchard took exception to that.
Indeed, he did. That's what brought him here to be at ringside with Bjorn, and many fans speculate as we have a
Kevin offers the handshake,
a feigned attempt at sportsmanship here.
Well, is he going to try to get the one up on Bjorn, or is he trying to play psychological mind games here? Oh!
I don't know what you want to call
in his face. You call that stupid and disgusting.
And he got exactly what he deserved for it, a big, open-handed slap across the face, immediately outside, trying to make sure that his eardrum isn't ruptured.
He's checking for his ear. I think Bjorn tried to remove it. Kevin spit right in the face of Bjorn. That is the most vile, disgusting thing one man can do to another.
And yeah, as if he hadn't already pushed Bjorn to the brink of absolute mania. But as you said, that could be the strategy to simply get him so worried about getting his hands on Kevin that he creates an opening that the challenger may exploit.
Oh, absolutely. Bjorn Bjorn's game plan is now out the window, and he's looking to take Kevin's head off.
It doesn't seem like there's much of a feeling out process between these two men. Kevin is just doing his best to stay at arm's length.
Well, they both know one another. They've been in the ring numerous times at this point, and on July 16th, it's going to happen one more time. But we'll get to that later.
Oh, absolutely. But by the end of this match, fans will know why the stakes are so high for that one. Great Ippon Sayanagi judo throw there from Bjorn.
Oh, up and over.
Huge clothesline sends Kevin all the way out to the concrete floor here at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds. Now, a lot of fans were of the mindset that Kevin had perhaps set himself up for a bigger challenge than not just capturing the championship, but having to defend all of the boasts that he has made, and were he to fall short, not only would he be without the title, but he would lose quite a bit of face.
Yeah, you would think Bjorn being the champion that Bjorn had everything to lose.
A huge gut wrench.
Kevin had quite a bit to lose too, because when you spout off the way he has, it really puts the ball in your court. And if you're not able to score, if you're not able to get the touchdown, the home run, whatever the case is.
Oh my, look at that impact in the corner. See how much momentum was behind that as Bjorn Kevin across the ring and then just absolutely flattened him. I mean, it's got to be tough to watch your son go through punishment like this.
Kevin's brought a lot. Oh man.
Able to get out of the way there.
He got some height on that one.
Yeah, that could have definitely been the beginning of the end of Kevin's challenge for the championship, but see him laying in some big shots to the temple there.
Kevin's brought, a lot to all of this onto himself, so there's not really a whole lot I can do. I've been in similar situations, and, you reap what you sow. Try to get that foot up.
Oh, did just enough to keep Bjorn from connecting. And
I think he caught him in the rib cage.
Definitely took advantage of the opening, fires off a few forearms and connects with the double axe handle. Dr. Tom looking a little bit anxious there on the outside. And back to the point that I'd made earlier, he has this man out here that he's calling a mentor that he's definitely trying to prove a point to. But, oh my, he got the point of that knee right under Bjorn's chin, didn't he? After those series of kicks to break the big man down.
He might have separated his jaw. Bjorn has got to get back to his feet, and he is.
Oh my, but...
Oh, and I don't know if that helped him much.
One would have assumed that Bjorn would have an advantage of someone with the wisdom of Dr. Tom, who knows Kevin's strengths and weaknesses and can tell him everything that he may have prepared Kevin for. But it doesn't look like that's really going to matter all that much if Kevin keeps up the intensity like he has thus far.
And our fans need to get prepared. They need to get prepared for Saturday night, July 16th. One of the big events that we'll see that night is Rowdy Randy Forrest taking on Sam Houston for the United States Championship. My God.
Absolutely leveled him with that reverse knife edge chop. And this is the absolute apex of competition here in the PWA. This is what brought all of these fans out here, hopefully what brings all of them and many more to the, oh my goodness, back to the fairgrounds on the 16th to see the rematch of this encounter here. Huge.
Oh man, what do you even call that?
I would call it a flying senton of some kind, but whatever you want to call it, it was all 215 pounds.
Man, he is just going to town on the left side of Bjorn's jaw.
Framed him up for another huge roundhouse kick, and this is something we saw Kevin bring out in this match that perhaps we hadn't seen much of before, was the striking. And very sound strategy trying to maintain distance, because you see what happens when Bjorn gets his hands on you. Got him up here for the electric chair. Kevin fighting for his life.
Oh, both men over the top. Kevin hangs on.
Able to work his way towards the ropes and simply...
Bjorn hard to the concrete.
Use the momentum to dump Bjorn over. Kevin able to stay in the ring, relatively safe, but yeah, that's
Tom Pritchard keeping Matthew at bay. Bjorn trying to get back to his feet. Kevin, what's Kevin going to do? Oh, over the top.
Oh my goodness, up and over.
He flew through the air and took Bjorn out. Dr. Tom Pritchard getting out of the way.
No, humongous somersault plancha there.
Referee Josh Hebb has got his hands full here between the two combatants in the ring and then the two on the outside.
Well, the last thing that the referee wants to do in a situation like this is count the men out. He wants the conflict to be settled in the ring. Bjorn is still with a lot of fight left in him at this point, despite all the punishment that he's taken. Clearly frustrating Kevin somewhat, questioning the judgment of the referee in that.
Well, Bjorn didn't become the PWA champion by luck. He and Kevin had a knockdown, drag-out fight at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds in December of 2021. Bjorn is the real deal, no pun intended to Kevin. But now Kevin wants to become the two-time PWA champion. He wants to solidify his legacy here in the Premier Wrestling Alliance.
Well, this would go a long way to doing just that. But I want to apologize for getting caught up in the action of this match and refer back to the mention that you made of the U.S. Championship match with Rowdy Randy Forrest facing Sam Houston, and there is definitely a lot to that story. Fans, you will be seeing the comments from both the participants in that match here on PWA's social media outlets, so make sure you stay tuned for all of that, because, oh my, huge back drop.
Oh, almost took him out of the ring, almost sent him into the front row.
Oh, but Matthew there.
Matthew's choking him. Referee Josh Hebb admonishes him.
Somewhat feeble attempt, but it does the job of giving Kevin a...
Oh, Dr. Tom's after him.
Yeah, Matthew might have bitten off more than he can chew. But yeah, Sam Houston defending the United States Championship. Rowdy Randy Forrest has turned his back on his fans and has aligned himself with JTH. Oh my, look at this. Bjorn able to catch the foot, trying to dump Kevin all the way to the floor. Kevin able to hold on to the top rope. Maintains his balance on the ring apron here. Both men clearly suffering fatigue from this hard hitting, this absolute brawl of a championship match here that we are showing these fans as we get them ready for July the 16th.
July 16th, tickets are available at pwaohio.com.
Oh my, Bjorn lost his balance, and in the drop zone here,
Kevin's in the high rent district.
Perched atop, perhaps changed his mind.
I don't think he liked the positioning. He saw something that maybe we didn't. Maybe Bjorn's playing a little bit of possum, and Kevin recognized that.
Well, clearly Kevin thought better of it and instead decides to use the knee drops there and
right onto the sternum.
Yeah. Hard to see what he may have had in mind for the top rope that would have been any more effective.
10 minutes elapsed in the time limit.
But I guess I'm about to find out.
Yeah, he's going back up. Is he pleased now with the positioning? Is he pleased now with Bjorn? He's up to the top. What's he going to do?
Oh my, huge attempt at the 450 splash.
Landed on his feet and rolled through. Luckily for Kevin. Unlucky for Bjorn. He caught the boot.
Kevin with great awareness there to be able to roll through.
Breaks the eyes on the boot and the knee pad.
The miscalculation on the attempted 450 splash does not prove to be as costly.
That could have ended Kevin's night right there had he missed that.
Oh, that huge forearm shot just rocked Kevin, but he connects with...
had he missed it and not caught his landing.
Yeah, that knee lift and then that jumping knee and pinpoint accuracy.
Right on the left side of the face again. If Bjorn doesn't have a broken jaw or a broken orbital, I don't know how.
No, it's great to see this match from this perspective as I was trying to get the best view of it from
Oh, he's back up top.
Another attempt at the 450, and he got all of it that time.
He landed it. 450 splash right on top of Bjorn. Bjorn's hurting, Kevin's hurting.
But it took Kevin a few seconds to recover as well, and trying to roll Bjorn back over. Bjorn did everything he could to stay off his back. Oh, but
those were precious seconds that Kevin was not able to get Bjorn over. Bjorn was on his side, had to roll the big man over.
Clearly a desperation attempt at a lateral press, unable to reach back and hook the leg. Just Kevin, no way would he be able to keep a man the size of Bjorn down like that. And now Kevin again going back up to the top rope, but this time Bjorn's ready to meet him, and he's going up to the, as you said, the high rent district as well.
What do they got planned here?
Well, it can't be good for either one of them. Superplex, oh my God! All the way from the top turnbuckle, and now it's Bjorn's opportunity.
Bjorn is 400 pounds, if not more. That has as much of an effect on his body. The shard, the jarring, the sheer weight coming down on himself.
Makes the cover, drapes his arm across, but only two.
And that's all it was just draping his arm over. He didn't have the ability. He didn't have the strength in him to even hook the leg.
You know, these men are given everything they have in their quest to lay claim to the championship here in the PWA. A very frantic Dr. Tom Pritchard on the outside. He's certainly done his part in making sure this match is contested fairly. Oh, Kevin staggers back to his feet.
Yeah, Dr. Tom Pritchard aligning himself with Bjorn after he had heard the words from Kevin and the way Kevin was speaking.
Fans, not only are we excited to see what these two men do to each other on July the 16th, we need to also remind you of all the other fantastic action we have lined up for that. We want you to stay tuned to our Facebook, our YouTube, all of our social media as Kevin comes in with another big running knee lift, full head of steam.
Oh my God!
Oh, but got caught. Bjorn unable to hold on, gets in position here. Oh my, huge!
A referee, Josh Hebb, taken out. He was caught by the boot of Kevin.
Huge one-arm power bomb.
Got him in the base of the skull. Matthew, what's he going for? Matthew's under the ring looking for something. It can't be good.
Well, he's certainly
Dr.
taking
Tom
advantage of the opportunity.
Dr. Tom's trying to get the referee. Oh, Dr. Tom caught him.
Well, the steel chair lays there.
Kevin's going for it. Dr. Tom steps on the chair and says, "Oh no, Kevin, you're not doing this."
Now, Dr. Tom's got the steel chair.
He asked Matthew if he wants some.
What on earth? Oh my God!
You son of a... Dr. Tom has turned his back on Bjorn. This was a ruse all along. Referee Josh Hebb has no idea.
There's the 3 count. The reveal that the fix was in.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, and once again, the PWA Heavyweight Champion,
Bjorn out. He had no chance.
And fans, now you see
Kevin Cruit.
As the announcement is made of the new champion, fans, you see exactly why we are demanding that this match be contested again. And not only will Bjorn get a shot to regain his title, it will be inside the steel cage. And Dr. Tom Pritchard will be involved in that match, but on the other side of the proverbial fence, as you see him raising the hand of the champion.
They couldn't have been any prouder for the ruse, for the coup that they pulled off here back in May 2022. There you see the brothers.
It's just shameful to see Kevin capture the championship for the second time in this way and be so cocky and smug about it and be so self-satisfied. Well, franchise player, the fans saw exactly how Kevin Cruit became a two-time PWA champion at the Shot at Greatness event May the 7th, but that was hardly the end of the story on the evening.
No, it seems as if you had the opportunity to speak to the new champion and the Doctor of Desire.
Oh, indeed I did, and let's give the fans a look at those comments right now. PWA fans, Aaron Hurt here with the new PWA heavyweight champion, Kevin Cruit. Now, Kevin, before I get some comments from you about your match with Bjorn, I would first like to address our guest, if I may be so polite about it. Now, Dr. Tom Pritchard, quite frankly, your reputation precedes you, but I thought that you had put some of that behavior in the past, but here I go making a fool out of myself, right? You're our guest. You come in here and you show the PWA that kind of respect for, I mean, this was a championship match. This man is now the champion because of what you did. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about what our fans are already saying about what they saw Dr. Tom Pritchard do tonight?
Aaron, let me explain explicitly to you and everybody within the sound of my voice right now. Kevin Cruit is the #1 student to come out of the Jacobs Pritchard Wrestling Academy. And when it found out you had been maligned and maliciously accused of doing all these horrible things in the PWA, I couldn't believe it. I know the person you are. I know the wrestler you are. I know your work ethic. I know what's in your mind. And I had the extreme displeasure of being in the corner of that Swedish whatever he might be, a tugboat like Bjorn. How in the world can you represent an organization like that? You're looking at the man. You're looking at the champion. You're looking at the JPWA #1 favorite student, Kevin Cruit. I came here for the purpose of seeing this man succeed besides and beyond all the handicaps that's been attached to him. And I'll tell you this, I know July 16th is a huge, huge day for you, and if you would love to have me in your corner, I would love to be there just to watch you destroy any competition put in your way. Kevin, I can tell you right now, I am so proud of you. You have always been our favorite student since you arrived in Knoxville, Tennessee, and carried it all the way to Ohio.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
By the way, Aaron Hurt, you ever disrespect the greatest coach this world has ever seen, ever again, you will regret.
Yeah, you will regret.
well, I guess it'll take the both of you to get the job done, then won't
Now,
it?
wait just a second. If you're talking about Kevin Cruit's wrestling ability, I think you have a long way to go, mister. You need to stay in your lane when you're talking about great champions and great wrestlers. Whoever wants to step up to the plate, I have full confidence in this young man right here to be the greatest PWA champion of all time. And you better get that straight, mister, and everybody else better get that straight too.
Well, fans, seeing is believing, and the next time we will see Kevin defending this championship will be July 16th here at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds, red, white, and bruised, and maybe, just maybe, he'll bring his friend Dr. Tom with him. Well, and franchise player, unfortunately for the both of us, that wasn't the last that we would hear from those two on the night, because as you and I were having a conversation about just what transpired, we were rather rudely interrupted.
You know, you and I can't seem to finish a conversation without being interrupted, and take a look at it.
Fans, Aaron Hurt being joined at this time by franchise player Chris Cruit. The word has come down. It's been made official. You are the guest referee for the steel cage rematch for the heavyweight championship. Bjorn coming after the belt that was taken from him, according to many fans' opinions, by your son Kevin.
Things are going crazy here in the Premier Wrestling Alliance. We return July 16th, steel cage match. Kevin Cruit, my son, the current reigning PWA heavyweight champion, against Bjorn. And I've been tasked with the dubious distinction in the job to be the special guest referee. And Aaron, I'm telling you something right now. They better not look for any favors, either one of them, any favors from me, because I'm going to call it straight down the middle.
Chris, Mr. Cruitt, sir, if you don't mind my saying so, you've done a huge disservice to your son with your favoritism and your ego getting out of control. I can't tell you the nights that this man right here, this son right here that I never had, has sat down and told me about the horrible things you've said and done to him throughout his life. I hope that makes you proud. But I can promise you this, he's made me proud and more proud than anybody that has ever come out of the JPWA. And you should be happy for that. But you're not. You've never given him the credit he deserves. You've never acknowledged how great he is in and outside the ring. You've lost out so much with this guy right here. And guess who gets to reap the benefits now? Me. And I can promise you this, you better call it down the middle. You better find a fair bone in your body. Because if you don't, I can promise you, we'll straighten it out after, just so you understand. Are you okay with that?
I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah. Come on. Come on, son.
Well, one way or another, Chris, you're going to have to count the 3 in that match with your son and Bjorn. And you heard what Dr. Tom had to say. Does that change your thoughts going into this?
Oh, yeah. That changes my thoughts. Dr. Tom, that sounded like a little bit of a threat. Well, I'm there to keep law and order. And if you need to be put in your place, well, I guess that's why they got me in there.
Well, they will all be locked in the steel cage. Bjorn, the champion Kevin Cruitt, and the special guest enforcer referee franchise player Chris Cruitt. July 16th at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds, red, white, and bruised. Well, the fans just heard the breaking news that franchise player Chris Cruitt will be the special guest referee. I didn't want to ask what you were doing over there in the corner now, but apparently it's self-explanatory.
Don't you worry about what was going on in the phone booth, Aaron. That's why we keep them around, just in case. But on Saturday night, July the 16th, Chris Cruitt, the franchise player, is going to step into the confines of the steel cage, but not to do battle. I'm going to be there to ensure that law and order is upheld. And Aaron, I'm hearing rumors. People are coming to me and they're saying, Chris, wink, wink, what's going on with you and your son? You're in the ring. You're going to help him out, right? I have no idea what these people are talking about. My job is not in there to screw Bjorn. Lord knows he's had enough of that with Dr. Tom and Kevin. I'm there just to uphold law and order. I promise. And on Saturday, July 16th, if Bjorn comes out the PWA champion, it's because he deserves it and no other reason. And if Kevin Cruitt comes out the PWA heavyweight champion, it'll be because he earned it and because he deserved it, and not because of Dr. Tom, not because of his little brother Matthew, and I assure you, not because of me.
Well, fans, I would say that you can take those words to the bank. Some very candid, very honest comments from the man who will serve as the special guest referee inside the steel cage when Kevin puts his championship on the line against Bjorn, this time with Dr. Tom in his corner. And franchise player, that's not all that we have in store for the fans on the 16th at the Fairgrounds for Red, White, and Bruised, but that's certainly the headline, the feature match, and fans, you have got to see it. It's going to be an entirely new day for the PWA, and we're going to usher it in with this huge, huge cage match for the heavyweight championship.
Hey, not only am I going to be there to ensure that fair play takes place, but I got a front row seat for the best match of the night.
Fans, get your tickets at pwaohio.com for the event Red, White, and Bruised coming to the Fairfield County Fairgrounds July the 16th.